Hey guys, it's Elias. Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here and you like car stuff, be sure to hit that button below to subscribe. As you can see behind me, we have a Honda Civic Sport Hatch in Aegean Blue. Now if you remember, I had my own Sport Hatch. It was awesome. I miss it every day. And luckily, one of my subscribers, Dirty Pineapples, I'll show you guys his Instagram name in a little bit, he reached out to me and said, hey, I have a modified Civic Sport Hatch I want you to drive. Let's meet up. So I'm like, hey, why not? Let's do it. And it's actually almost perfectly modded. It's got pretty much everything I would love to do to a sport hatch done to it. So I'm really excited to drive it. I haven't driven it yet, so I'll give you guys first impressions, pros, how it feels, how it drives, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. So as I said, special thanks to Johnny, also known as Dirty Pineapples on Instagram, that's his Instagram handle right there, for letting me drive his car and basically for hanging out with me today. It's been a real treat, and I'm sure it's going to be a lot of fun to get to drive this car. So let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. Alright, so here we are. We're going to start driving this car around. I'm very excited. It's been almost a year since I've driven a Sport Hatch. And I've always kind of wanted to get back to one. I know Throb Nation, if you're watching, I know you've been wanting to get yours back as well. You love it. I have Johnny in the car as I usually do. But so let's go ahead and go for a little drive. That's my Type R there. We'll go back to it later.
Same color as Rob's car.
That's right. That's right. This is the blue.
Yep.
So this car's color is amazing. We'll get to the exterior in a second. I want to give you guys my first impressions just from the get-go. So first impressions, there's an interesting intake sound. The car feels modified and tuned, and the shifter, very different to what I'm used to in any Honda. It feels similar actually to the S2000 shifter. The S2000 shifter is a better shifter, it's more direct, but this is getting there, so it's pretty good. Johnny, tell me what modifications did you do to this shifter?
So we'll start on the transmission side. It has the Boomba Racing short shift transmission adapter.
Nice.
And then the bushings are Acuity shifter cable bushings.
Sweet. And
then over to the center console, we have the Siri Moto crispy shift kit, which basically includes their short shift adapter, which attaches to the bottom of the transmission housing. And then it's got the aluminum shifter base bushings.
So it's got the aluminum shifter base bushings.
Yes, there's Siri Moto aluminum shifter base bushings.
Yeah.
Acuity centering ring.
Wow.
It basically has the entire Acuity catalog, except for the throttle spacer.
Wow, that's a lot of work to it. Yeah, I did notice it does not have a throttle spacer. And the throttle spacer, what it does is it brings the accelerator pedal to where the brake pedal is, so it's easier to heel toe. These cars kind of need it, including the Type R. So with all that stuff done to the shifter, I gotta say, it's a completely different experience. The intake sounds amazing, by the way. What intake is that?
That's a AF dynamic intake, which is powder coated red.
Wow. It's really cool. I love the way it sounds. It makes it sound like Darth Vader. It makes it sound similar, actually, to the Type R's with their intakes as well. But back to the shifter, it completely changes the shifting dynamic. It's a very short shifting car. It takes a little bit to get used to, but once you get used to it, man, it's fun. It's really fun. Now, in terms of the tune, I know you used KTUNER, but explain to me what happened with this tune.
So it's a off-the-shelf KTUNER map, which is the 21 and 16.5 base map that they offer. But it's pro-tuned by Steve at Quantum Raceworks, so it makes 215 wheel horsepower and 265 wheel torque at peak boost of 25.5 psi.
And that's what I've been feeling just now. down low in the RPM range, this car wants to take off.
Yes, the meat of the torque band is between 3,000 and 5,000.
It's insane. So while he doesn't have the actual KTUNER unit, you can get these standalone kind of tunes on the car. They basically flash the ECU and you just have the tune. You can't change it like I do on the Type R on the Fly. But with 265 foot-pounds of torque, I mean, I don't think you need to be changing much after this. One thing to note as well is the rev hang is pretty much eliminated with the KTUNER. I mean, yeah, it's pretty much eliminated. It's still a little bit there because of the heavy flywheel, but it's much better. And I do have to say, and you guys are gonna kill me for this, but down low in the RPM range between 2,500 and 3,500 RPMs, the power levels in this car feel very similar to that in the Type R. The Type R is faster, for sure. There's no question, for sure. But in terms of feel, between 2,500 and 3,500 RPMs, it's getting close. And that's really impressive. For the most part, it's because the small turbo in this engine spools up so much faster, so much quicker. It just throws all that air into the engine and it burns up all that fuel and gets you that beautiful torque that we all love to feel. So I gotta say, this tune is really well done.
We gotta thank Steve.
So thank you, Steve. Let's talk quickly about the exterior and interior of the car. So on the exterior, again, beautiful blue, the Aegean Blue. I think it's one of the best colors that Honda's come out ever. It kind of reminds me of the year 2000, those EM1 Civic SIs with the electric blue and the Preludes with the electric blues. Amazing blue. Honda knows how to make a good blue, and this car is no exception. He's got a couple of little mods to it that are very subtle, but if you look at them, you'll notice them. It's the car's dropped a little bit. What did you use?
They are Megan Racing lowering springs.
So very nice, and they feel pretty good. We'll get to the driving impressions in a little bit. He has the spoiler is a little bit lifted, which again, unless you really noticed, you wouldn't really see that. But when I went and looked at it, it actually looks really cool. It gives it kind of a little bit of a rake that it needs. And he has the fog lights as well. Not the fog lights, the side markers are fogged up as well. And I'm actually thinking about getting those for my Type R. Now, I'm not a big fan of the white ones that people are getting, but these smoked out ones, or fogged out ones, as I was saying, they look pretty cool. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, if I should get one for the Type R or not. But on this car, it looks really good. Really looks good on the outside. On the inside, it's a very familiar Civic Hatchback Sport. The seats, nothing to write home about. They're about as good as I remember. They don't really hold you in almost at all. So if you're gonna do any serious track racing or track day driving or autocross, you may want to upgrade the seats. In terms of the material, it's that scratchy, cloth that I'm not a big fan of. But honestly, after a little while, you don't even notice it. Alright, so we're now in the driving portion. That guy needs to stay in his lane. Wow, the noise. The intake noise. Listen to that. Wow. It just sounds really, really good. So engine-wise, the car feels really good. It does fall flat on its face after about 4,500 RPMs. Really doesn't have that much power after that. Yeah, it kind of runs out of power around 5,000 RPMs, which is okay, because you can always just shift. Let's see how it does going up this hill. It's quite a hill. Oh yeah. Loses all kinds of traction. Traction control still on, of course. Yep, and it loses power. It kind of loses breath around 5,000 RPMs. But man, it feels really good down low. Oh yeah. I feel like I could drive this around all day.
I actually learned how to drive stick on this car.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that. That's really cool. With the rev hang mostly gone. Let's see what I can do here. Obviously not as fast as the Type R, but man, is it fun. I do sense a bunch of suspension mods. We already talked about the fact that it has Aegean springs, lowering springs, and it does really well. What else do you have done to this, Johnny, that makes it feel kind of better?
So this also has the OEM Type R rear sway bar. It is a direct bolt-on item. It's 20.5 millimeters versus 16 millimeters on the OEM stock Sport Civic Hatch.
Big difference in terms of turning. I mean, much more direct. I'm shaking Johnny around a little bit. Hopefully he doesn't mind. But yeah, it feels more direct. I mean, that's what a sway bar does. It kind of stiffens up the body roll and body response. What else did you do to it?
Basically that's it. I mean, it's just some engine stuff, intake, tune, absolutely stock exhaust, a little bit of suspension, and then literally everything that's available currently for the 10th Gen Civic for the shifters, I've practically done to it.
So here we are in second gear. We're about 25 miles an hour, around 3,000 RPMs. I'm gonna see what this turbo can do. Give it a little. You gotta love that. That's beautiful. It's a nice hot day today, so we got plenty of grip from the all-season tires. Probably also getting a little bit of heat soak from driving the car the way I do. Man, but overall, I really gotta say this car is a lot of fun to drive, and for what it is, $21,000 with a couple of mods, maybe add up to $1,200 to $1,500. You get a lot of car for your money.
It's so good. I love this.
It's just so much fun. And like I said, for around $21,000, let's say $22,000 after all the modifications and things like that taken into consideration, this is a lot of car for your money. You get all the space, you get all the radio and everything else you need. I mean, the Type R has a better radio, but would I prefer this one to the Type R? I don't really care, to be honest with you. You get all those beautiful noises from the intake. One thing I love seeing that he has, this is actually my phone, but he has the same exact phone holder that I have in my Type R and that I've had in my Civic Hatch. It's the best phone holder for the Civics because you put it right there, you drop your phone in right there, and it's like having your own screen right on your dash. It's really awesome. I love it.
And how I found out about that is because you have a video about it.
That's right. If you haven't checked it out, I'll put a link to it right here. But yeah, check it out if you have a Civic, a 10th Gen Civic. I recommend that phone holder. It's the best one I found. I've tried like 10 of them. So give it a try. And we're just cruising around right now. We're just kind of having fun. And man, this car is just really cool. Now, of course, compared to the Type R, let's talk about that. The Type R is going to be a lot faster. The suspension is going to be a lot better. You're going to feel it in the corners. The steering feels a lot better in the Type R as well. This is not bad. This is basically like the comfort mode in the Type R. But when you start hitting the corners, you definitely feel the suspension differences between this and the Type R. Now you gotta remember, the Type R is another $15,000 above what this car costs. Now, is that worth it? Really, that's up to you. It's how you're gonna be driving the car. For me, since I'll be using it at the racetrack and then doing track days with it, you know, I was looking at modifying the Sport Hatch. I wanted to have a limited slip differential, which this car it doesn't have. You need to go with Civic Si for that. You'd probably want to get a bigger turbo because, as you see, above around 5,000 RPMs, it just kind of loses its turbo. It doesn't really have that push anymore. But if what you're going to be using this car for is maybe some light autocross and mostly commuting around town, a couple of modifications like the one that Johnny did does wonders for this car. I really can't recommend it enough. I miss mine. Throb Nation misses his. Everybody that's had one of these loves them. I completely understand these cars, and now I don't want to give it back.
Well, I'll try to have to go home.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just really cool. Alright guys, that pretty much wraps it up here. We're gonna close up shop here. I'm gonna drive it a little longer and have a little bit of fun. But thanks for watching. As always, if you have any questions, put it down below. And I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.